Hello everyone, my name is Arnold Wangakuramia. Thanks for tuning in. This is Kisembo Academy, and in today's session we are going to do some numbers on simple algebra, and under this topic we are going to cover past examination style past paper questions on numbers that involve things like changing the subject of the formula, expansion and identities, talk about factorization, and then also substitution of operations. So we are going to get started. Now, of course, as we do this number, for example, we have this first number here of factorizing. We are being required to factorize this number and that number. It's factorizing those algebraic expressions. Now, when you look at those expressions, they look a bit advanced as far as factorization goes. Of course, they are advanced because we are dealing with examination style kinds of past paper questions. So my assumption here is that you have done factorization as a topic in class and you're well versed with the ins and outs of the topic. And so this is more like for people who have really studied the entire topic and are, doing the exams. They are testing the concepts here. So when it comes to this, I assume you are well conversant with how we factorize simple, quadratic expressions, factorizing them. You can factorize them using, how we factorize quadratic expressions when we know the roots. Then there is how you factorize, quadratic expressions using the method of completing squares. And of course, the method of completing squares is what culminates into the use of what we call the quadratic formula, or call it the bulldozer method. Those nitty-gritties in the topic, I am assuming that you are well versed with them. However, if you're not well versed with them, let me know in the comment section below, and I can, do a topic that dives deep into those details. Right now, I'm answering past paper questions, and I'm going to solve them with the assumption that you did these things in your classroom, and you're now at a certain level of understanding. So when you look at this, factorize this quadratic expression, for example, this first one, I am going to use two approaches to do it, and you'll be able to choose which one you feel suits you or which one you feel, is convenient for you. So let me do the first one. Now we all know from our classroom, when they were introducing this topic, we know that a quadratic expression, the general formula for a quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c. And when we are trying to solve the quadratic formula, using factorization method, we often we look at the coefficient of x here, which is b, and then we ask ourselves, we want to find two numbers. When we add them, they give us a sum of positive b, and when we multiply those two numbers, it's supposed to give us a product of the a times c, like that. We remember this, right? Actually, I'm going to put a link in the description below where I talk about quadratic expressions in detail. That is where I get to explain some of these things. Let me just go straight to answering the question. So here we have a squared plus b squared minus 4 plus 2ab. Factorize this. So again, this is the general form of the quadratic expression. Now the expression we have here in the question is a squared plus b squared minus 4 plus 2b. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to rearrange it so that it looks like this. So in this case, my value of x here, as far as the general form is concerned, my value of x, when it comes to this one, my value of x is going to be a. I'm going to make a my value of x. So that means that if I'm making a my value of x, this is going to become a squared. Then it's going to become a squared, or this is 2ab, 2ab. So it's going to become a squared, a squared plus 2ab, that is plus 2ab. Then I'll say that is plus b squared minus 4. So after doing that, then we are going to go ahead and look at, this is the same as saying, since my a is like my x in the general expression, this a is my x, so let me say this is like s, s squared plus 2ba, plus b squared minus 4. Yeah, so this is like my x, where you're seeing a, that is like my x, okay, my value of x in this expression, in the general expression. I hope you're not confused. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at we are supposed to find two numbers. When we are looking for, so two numbers, when we add them, it's going to give us a sum of positive 2b plus 2b, and when we multiply them, it's supposed to give us this. That is, when we multiply them, it's supposed to give us a product of b squared minus 4. We want those two numbers, giving us a sum of 2b, product of b squared minus 4. So how do we get those two numbers? We get those two numbers by finding the factors, of this expression here. And if you look at that expression, I don't know why my things are disappearing here. Let me try and rewrite them here. That is a squared plus 2ab plus, yeah. Okay, let's get back to here. So if you look at that expression here, you find that it is actually b squared minus actually 2a, minus 2 squared. Do you realize that this is a difference of two squares? And this difference of two squares, meaning for me to be able to get this, it is b plus 2 into b minus 2. Now, when I talk about difference of two squares, those are nitty-gritties of the topic. I expect you to have learned that in class. So when I multiply this and that, I'll end up with that. Okay? Then when I add this and that, b plus 2 into b minus 2, I'll end up with positive b. So it means that the two numbers we are looking for, whereby when we add them, we get, we get positive 2b, and then when we multiply them, we get b squared minus 4. Those two numbers are these ones right here. So it means those two numbers are going to come and, replace this middle part. And so it means in this case, our next part is going to become a squared. Then we shall come and replace them with these ones. So it's going to become a squared plus b plus 2, that's the first root. So it's going to be b plus 2a. Remember, our a is like the x. Then we get to the second one into, that is going to be plus b minus 2a. Then from there, then plus the value of c, which in this case is going to become plus b squared minus 4. All right, so this is going to become, now we are going to factorize here. So we put that and that in the brackets, then we put these other two also in the brackets. Let's continue. So from there, what we have is a squared plus, okay, let's first maintain this. Let's put a outside the brackets there into b plus 2. This is what this is about, this. Then we have plus, then the other bracket. Let's try and simplify things in the brackets here for this other number. This is like a into b minus 2. Then that is going to become plus. Now b squared minus 4, remember, it's the same as saying b squared minus 2 squared. Okay? I'm still trying to simplify the things in the second bracket. So that means that in the next we have, let's first maintain the things in the first bracket, a squared plus a into b plus 2. Okay, putting that like that. Then it's going to become, plus. So when we are saying plus, it's going to become a into b minus 2 plus. Now, b squared minus 2 squared, this is difference of two squares, which is the same as b minus 2 into b plus 2. And we put that bracket right there. So after simplifying it like that, then we can factorize. If you see here, a is the common factor, so we can put a outside the brackets into here. We remain with a plus, that is b plus 2. Okay, then we have plus. What are the common factors here? We have this b minus 2 and b minus 2 as a common factor, so we shall come and say it's b minus 2 into, what do we have here? We have, what remains here is a plus b plus 2. Do you realize that what we have in the brackets is the same? This and that is the same. So now that that is the same, so it means that we shall combine the items in the brackets, put them in their own brackets, a plus b plus 2. Then, into the items that are outside the brackets, we put them in their own bracket. And so that means it's going to become a plus b minus 2. And so from here, we can conclude and say that means this is going to become a plus b plus 2 into a plus b minus 2. And there we have factorized that expression completely. Now that's one way of doing it. We have factorized that. Now let me do it another way. And this way, this other way of doing it, I'm going to use the quadratic formula to do it. So let's use another approach, and this other approach is using the quadratic expression, what we call the bulldozer method. But let's not forget that the general expression for a quadratic, expression, the general expression for a quadratic equation is given by ax squared plus bx plus c. So now I am going to now rearrange this expression so that it looks like that expression. So in rearranging it, I say it is a squared, plus 2ab, plus b squared minus 4. So in rearranging it, you realize that our value of a actually is the x up there. If I may be more accurate here, let me call this 2b, this is going to be 2ba, like that. So it means that here, my value of x, my x squared, is that. Then here, my x squared, so meaning my x here is the a here. Remember, the a is the x. Then like that. So it means that my value of a, as far as this expression is concerned, I want you to take note carefully, that my value of a here is 1. So the value of a there is 1. Then my value of b in this expression is this. So my value of b here is 2b, okay? And my value of c is that. And my value of c is b squared minus 4. So after identifying my value of a, b, and c, I'm going to go ahead and substitute those expressions in this. You know that since we are looking for our value of a here is the x, so it means that we are looking for the value of a. In other words, when we are calculating this quadratic expression, this one here, we are looking for the value of x. And when we are looking for the value of x, we shall say that my value of x is going to be given by minus b plus or minus into 4 into b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You know that formula, right? So it's what I'm going to use here. Now, my value of x here instead is a. So since my value of x here in this case is a, so I'm going to say this is my value of, okay, let me first quote my general expression here. Let me write it down here very, very well. We know that for a general expression, for a quadratic function, when we want to solve it, it's going to become x is going to be equal to, minus b plus or minus, into the square root. This is going to become b squared minus 4ac, divide that by 2a, like that. So I shall come here and say that where there is b, remember where there is x, I put a, right? So I'll come here and say it means that my value of x, in this case, my value of x according to this expression is the a. So my value of a is given by minus b. Now my b is 2b. So it's going to be minus my value of b, which is 2b, plus or minus under the square root of b squared, that is 2b squared, minus 4 times my value of a, which is 1, times my value of c, which so happens to be b squared minus 4. Yeah, it's like that. Divide all that by 2a, like that. So from there, we shall proceed by saying that my value of a is, minus 2b plus or minus, let's solve the things in the brackets. This is going to become 4b squared minus, that's going to become 4b squared, we are opening brackets, plus, 16, like that. Divide all that by 2a, like that. So that means this is going to become my value of a is given by minus 2b plus or minus, you realize that here in the inside here, this and that will go, you remain with 16, so it's under the square root of 16, divide that by 2a. Now this simply means that my value of a is either negative 2b plus the square root of 16 over 2a, or it is negative 2b minus the square root of 16 over 2a. That's what the plus and minus in between there means. So it means that this is going to become, negative 2b, square root of 16 is 4, so it's plus 4, divide that by 2a. By the way, the value of a is 1. I don't know why I'm maintaining the a. The value of a is 1. According to, our expression here, the value of a is 1. I don't know why I had forgotten to substitute it here. So this value of a, the a here is 1, 2 times 1. This value of a is 1, 2 times 1, which is still 1, right? So it means that here the value of a is 2 times 1, which is 2. Or this is minus, 2b minus the square root of 16 is 4. Divide that by 2 times 1, which is 2, like that. So from here, okay, let's factorize again. So this becomes, you put, 2 outside the brackets into negative b, plus 2. Divide that by 2, or here we have negative, still we have 2 outside the bracket into negative 2 minus 2, divide that by 2, so that this 2 and that 2 cancel, that 2 and that 2 cancel. When those 2 cancel, you will end up with my value of a is negative b plus 2, or my a is, negative 2. This is negative 2b. Or it's negative b minus 2. That is a. Of course, if you transfer this to the other side, this is a plus b minus 2. And then if you transfer this the other side, also it becomes a plus b plus 2. And you realize that there we have factorized the expression. So that's how we factorize that expression fully. Alright, so that is the thing. That is the, I have factorized it. That's the other way of doing it. Now, this is really for people who are a bit advanced, I should say, in this arena of factorization. But well, You can always watch my other lectures where I go deeper into these concepts slowly. I'll leave a link in the video description. So let's move on to Roman 2. Alright, so I'm going to do Roman 2 of this question. I'm going to factorize that expression. The expression is a squared minus 5a minus 36 plus am plus 4m. I'm required to factorize that expression. I'm going to factorize it using the two approaches. You pick the approach that is convenient for you to use, the one that you best understand. So I'll get started by rearranging this expression in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. That's what I'm going to do. So it means that my value of x is the one that is squared. So in this expression, it is a that is squared. So this is going to become my value of x. So meaning that where there is a, here is the value of x. This a is the value of x. So let me rearrange it so that it looks like that. So in rearranging, I will come here and say this is a squared minus 5a. So anything that has a, this is am right there. So I shall say it's plus am. Then the other things will fall now like minus 36. So I shall come here and say minus 36, then plus 4m, plus 4m. Let me rearrange it like that. So, moving on. This means this is going to become a squared. So that's going to become minus, since we have a and a right there, let me put a outside the brackets here, into 5, 5 plus, let me say plus here, let me put a plus here so that in the brackets we have it's minus 5, minus m, something like that. Then we have here minus 36 plus 4m. So at the end of the, because I want you to note that when I open these brackets here, I end up with what was there before. I hope you are not, I've not lost you here. Like I factorized a outside the brackets, positive a. Then I was like negative 5a, divide that negative 5a, divide that by a, I ended up with negative 5. Then am, divide that by positive a, I ended up with positive m. So it means this is a squared, plus, let me put that a at the end here. So I'm going to say it's going to become m minus 5, like that, times a minus 36 plus 4m. I think from here you can see that I have expressed this, I have changed this to look like this. It is in the form of, ax squared plus bx plus c. And from here we can see that my value of a squared is the x squared right there. My value of x here is the a here, and so it means that my value of a here, as far as this expression is concerned, my value of a here is 1. My value of b here is this expression right there, and my value of c is this whole expression. So if I may summarize that, I hope you have not lost anyone. So it means my value of a here is 1, my value of b here is m minus 5, and my value of c is, negative 36 minus 4m, which is the same as saying 4m minus 36. Now that I have indicated things like that, so now let's go ahead, and we know that when we are using the bulldozer method, we shall say that my value of x is given by, minus b plus or minus into the square root of b squared minus 4ac, divide that by 2a. So we say that my value of x in this expression, because we're trying to solve this expression, my value of x in that expression is denoted by a. So I shall come here and say that a is given that my b, remember, is m minus 5, so it is minus into m minus 5 plus or minus under the square root of b squared. So remember, my b squared is m minus 5, so it's m minus 5. That is going to give us squared minus 4. Well, minus 4, so that's going to be minus 4 times my value of a. Remember, my value of a, according to this, we found our value of a to be 1, so my value of a here is 1, times my value of c. My value of c is 4m minus 36, so I'll come here and say that this is 4m minus 36. Divide all this by 2a, by 2 times my value of a. My value of a, as you can see, is 1. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to simply simplify things that are under the square root sign, and we see what we get, the expression we get there. So moving on, this is going to become, let's open brackets here, negative 1 times m is negative m, then negative times negative 5, that is plus 5, plus or minus under the square root m minus 5 squared. You know, I'm going to use this trigonometrical identity to demystify this one. Let me write it here for side work just to show you. We know that a minus b squared is given by a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So this identity is what I am going to use to, solve this thing here. So it means in my next step down here, it's going to become, m squared minus 2 times m times negative 5, times 5, okay, plus 5 squared. That's what I've used, that identity. Then I'll continue and say that is minus, that is 4 times 1, which is 4, times, all right, let me go slowly, 4 into 4m minus 36, like that. So this is going to become, negative m plus 5 is the same as saying 5 minus m. Let's rearrange it like that. So it's 5 minus m plus, oh, sorry, I had forgotten to divide that by 2. So that whole thing is, all this thing is, divide that by 2. So let's move on to the next step. So the next step is going to be negative 5 plus m is the same as 5 minus m, like that. That is plus or minus under the square root of, this is m squared, so I shall come here and say this is m squared, this is minus 10m plus 25. Minus 4 times 4 is 16, so it's minus 16m. Then negative 4 times negative 36 is going to give us positive 144. Like that. Divide all this by 2. So from here, proceed. This is going to be, remember, this is, we're trying to find the value of a. So this is going to become 5 minus m plus or minus into the square roots, So let's collect like terms here. We have m squared. Then we have negative 10m minus 16m is going to give us minus 26m. Then 25 plus 44 is giving us plus 169. So my value of a here is going to be equal to 5 minus m plus or minus. Now when you factorize this expression, factorizing it is going to give you, m minus 13 into m minus 13. It's a perfect square. Divide that by 2. That is when you factorize that expression under the square root. So definitely, moving on, this is going to become 5 minus m plus or minus under the square root of m minus 13 squared, divide that by 2. So moving on to the next step. So our value of a there is going to become 5 minus m into, plus or minus. This square root sign goes with that, remain with m minus 13, like that. Divide that by 2. So from here, we shall break these two solutions down. We shall say either we know a is equal to 5 minus m plus m minus 13, divide this by 2, or the value of a is 5 minus m minus m minus 13, divide that by 2, like that. So what do we have? Of course, from here, what we have, we simplify what is in the numerator. This is a is going to be equal to, 5 minus 13. What do we have as 5 minus 13? We have negative 8. Of course, this negative m and that negative will cancel, so we have negative 8 over 2. That is, or here a is equal to, of course, this is 5 minus m plus 13 over 2. This is going to become, our value of a here will be 5, 5 plus 13 is 18, so this is 18 minus 2m over 2. So definitely this is by 2 once, by 2, 4 times, so here we have a is equal to negative 4, and here we have a being equal to, let's factorize the things on top, that is 9 minus m over 2. If this goes with that, we remain with our value of a as 9 minus m. So we have expression here, a is equal to negative 4. When the negative 4 goes that side, we have a plus 4 being equal to 0. And also in this side, we have, when this comes that way, we have a minus 9 plus m being equal to 0. So it means that factorizing that expression means we have a plus 4 in one bracket and a minus 9 plus m in another bracket. And this, we have factorized the expression fully. So I'm going to use another approach to factorize this number. Okay, so again, we are still factorizing a squared minus 5a minus 36 plus am plus 4m. So I'm going to use another approach to factorize this number. Of course, to use this approach, again, I'm going to rearrange this number so that it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, in that form. So let's go. So this is going to become, a squared minus 5a plus am plus 4m minus 36. So this is going to become a squared, let me say plus the common factor here being a, let me put a outside the brackets, into, negative 5a divided by a gives us negative 5, am divided by a gives us plus m, plus 4m minus 36, like that. So this is the same as saying a squared plus, m minus 5 in brackets, a plus, 4m minus 36. Okay, plus 4m minus 36. I think from what you can see here, we can see that this thing has been, I've just rearranged it in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So from here, we're going to try and find two numbers. You see that? We are going to try to find two numbers, and it's going to be in such a way that we are going to try and find two numbers that when we add these two numbers, they give us a sum of m minus 5. And when we multiply those two numbers, or call them two expressions, they give us a product of 4m minus 36. Like that. So we are trying to find two expressions here that when we add them, they should be giving us a sum of m minus 5, and when we multiply them, they give us a product of 4m minus 36. So how do we find those two expressions? We shall find those two expressions by trying to find the factors of the product. Just like the way we've been doing it in our sessions earlier when we were talking about this topic in detail. So let's look at the products of 4m. Let's look at 4m minus 36. Let's look at what two numbers can we multiply so that we're able to get, when the answer we get is 4m minus 36. Okay, so what are those two numbers? So let's try looking for those two numbers. So when I look at 4m minus 36, let us factorize this. Let me put 4, I can, if I put 2 outside the brackets, 2 times, 2m minus, that is 18. So 2m into 36 times 18, this is like 2 times that. Of course, 2 times 2m minus 18 gives us that one. But the question is, if I added 2m plus this, will it give me this? Will it give me m minus 5? Let's try. 2 plus 2 will give me 4m. Then 2 plus 18 will give me, 2 minus 18, actually it's minus 16. So that pair won't work. Let's try and put 4 outside the brackets, We have prime factorized in this expression. I hope we are not lost. So if I prime factorize this, I put 4 outside the brackets in this expression. So 4 into, that is m minus 9. And so I'll ask myself that, of course, these two expressions, 4 times this whole expression, this is 4 into m minus 9. So 4 times m gives us 4m, 4 times 9 gives me minus 36. Now if I add these two expressions, if I add these two, will they give me this expression here? So 4 plus m, so when I add those two, if I add them, will they give me that? So it is 4 plus m minus 9, which is going to simply become m, 4 minus 9 is minus 5. So you realize it's that. It's adding up. So it means that these are our factors. These are the two factors we're going to get, 4 times m minus 9. These are the two numbers here. We're talking about that when we add them, they give us this, and when we multiply them, they give us that. So let me rewrite this here and continue with our working here. So it means we are factorizing, remember? So it becomes a squared plus, m minus 5a plus 4m minus 36, like that. So we are looking for the two numbers, which when you add them, we got the two numbers, which is 4 into m minus 9. And so those two numbers are going to come and displace the middle part. So it means our next step is going to become a squared plus. Now the middle part is going to be, displaced by those those two figures. So it's going to be, the first figure is 4 right there. So it's going to become plus 4a. Then the next figure is m minus 9 plus, m minus 9a. Then we shall continue with, that is plus 4m minus 36, like that. So we shall go ahead and factorize these, put these in their brackets, put those ones in their own brackets. So we shall end up with, let's try and simplify this further. So this, let's continue. This becomes a squared plus 4a, okay, plus in brackets. So here we have, let's put a into m minus 9 plus, this is like a big bracket right there, plus let's put 4 outside the brackets here, 4 into m minus 9, okay, like that. So from here, let's also, the common one is a, so put a outside the brackets into You know that is a plus 4. Then it's going to become plus. What is common? We have m minus 9 and m minus 9 as common, so we put those ones outside the brackets, m minus 9 outside the brackets into, what is the remaining? It is a plus 4 into a plus 4. So from here we are able to see that this a plus 4 and that a plus 4 are the same. So the items that are the same, put them in their own brackets, a plus 4. Then we have those items outside the brackets, which is a, and then m minus 9 on their own. So that is into a plus m minus 9. And you realize that there we have factorized the expression. Well, if you're a bit lost and you've not understood, let me know. I see how I can do this again in a more simpler version, but basically this is it. And this is a bit advanced for people who have really, grasped all the concepts from the grassroots. So we have finished with that one. Let's move on to the next number. So let's look at part B. Given that x plus y is equal to 10 and xy is equal to 5, find the values of 1 over x. Of course, here 1 over x plus 1 over y is given. Then our value of x, we go ahead and LCM, that is xy. Xy divided by x is give us y. So here we have y plus xy divided by y is x, so that is plus x. So here we know that y plus x, according to our expression, x plus y is 10. So up there is 10, divide that by bottom, xy is 5, that is it. So what do we have here as our answer? The answer we have here is going to be by 5 once, by 5 twice, so our answer is 2. Then let's look at Roman 2. Roman 2 here says y divided by 1 over x. This is the same as, this is equal to y. Find the reciprocal of this, so it's going to be times x over 1. That is going to be equal to yx, and this is going to be yx, so this is 5. And that's our answer. Moving on. Given that a squared minus b squared is equal to 16, a plus b is 8, find the values of a and b. So first of all, when they say that a squared minus b squared is equal to 16, this is a difference of two squares. So this is the same as saying a minus b into a plus b is equal to 16. That is what it means. Now remember, they've told us that a plus b is 8. So if a plus b is equal to 8, this is the same as saying a minus b times a plus b, which is 8, is equal to 16. Yep. So if I divide both sides by 8, this 8 cancels with that 8. What will remain here, we have a minus b giving us by 8 once, by 8 twice, so which is 2. So we have an expression here that says that a minus b is equal to 2. This is like our equation 1, an expression. But remember, we've also been told that a plus b is equal to 8. Remember, we have been told in the question that a plus b is equal to 8. So that's our expression 2. So we deal with those two expressions to find our value of a. These are like two simultaneous equations. We deal with them to find our values of a and b. So from there, we're going to go ahead and say we know that a minus b is equal to 2. And we also know that a plus b is equal to 8. So let's use elimination method. Let's subtract the two equations. A minus a is 0. Negative b minus b is minus 2b is going to be equal to 2 minus 8, which is going to give us negative 4. Divide both sides by negative 2. So that this goes with that, this goes with that, remain with our value of b as this goes with that, by 2 once, by 2 twice. So our value of b is 2. After getting our value of b and as 2, we can go ahead and find the other value of a. We know that a plus b We can choose an equation, a plus b is equal to 8. Our value of a plus b, which is 2, is equal to 8. Then here our value of a is definitely 8 minus 2, and we have our value of a there as 4. So our value of a is 4, our value of b is 2. We've answered the question that says that find the values of a and b. Moving on. Given that a asterisk b is ab squared, find the value of 2 asterisk 5. So a operation b is ab squared. So when they say find 2 to 5, they are simply telling us that our value of a is 2 and our value of b is 5. So it means that that is going to simply mean, Roman 1 means that, 2 to 5 is a b squared. Our value of a is 2, so it is 2 times our value of b, which is 5, 5 squared. So that is going to be 2, multiply that by 5 squared, which is 25, and our answer here is 50. Roman 2. Our Roman 2. Find a if a asterisk 3 is equal to 63. They want us to find the value of a. Remember that from our question here, we know that a to that is that, so we have a asterisk b is given by ab squared. So in other words, here they're trying to find our value of a is that. They're telling us our value of b is 3, so they want us to find that expression. So in other words, here what it means, it's more like, it means it is ab squared is equal to 63, right? But we know our value of b as 3. They want us to find the value of a. So our value of a, multiply that by our value of b, which is 3, is equal to 63. So let's go on and find the value of a. So that's going to become 3 squared is 9, so it's 9a, giving us 63. Divide both sides by 9. Our value of a will be by 3 is 3, by 3 is 31. So our value of a is 31 over 3. So if n is the square root of that expression, express m in terms of n and x. When they tell us to express m in terms of n and x, they're asking us to make m the subject of the formula. So that's what we're going to do. We know that n is given by x times, the square root of, 2, divide that by 4m squared minus 1, something like that. So express m in terms of n and x. So the m is here, we are looking, m is right there. We need to isolate it and make sure it's on its own. And it's just 1. So what happens is, first of all, let us remove, we are now demystifying or dismantling this whole expression so that we get to m squared, so that eventually we make m be on its own side. So let's first, there's an x here. So let's first divide by x on both sides so that we first remove that x. This x and that x cancel out. So what we have here, we have n divided by x is going to be equal to, the square root of 2 over 4m squared minus 1, like that. Now, let's remove the square root sign. How? By squaring on both sides. So square that side and square that side. So that this square root sign and that they cancel. So you remain with n over, n squared over x squared, or you can maintain it as before, is equal to 2 over f4m squared minus 1. So let's make this a flat equation by cross multiplying. So it means this is going to become n squared into 4 m squared minus 1 is going to be equal to 2 multiply that by x squared. So let's open brackets here, n squared times m squared, that is 4, minus n squared, we are just opening brackets, that's how it turns out, is going to be equal to 2x squared. So from here, we have, remember we are interested in making m stay on its own side. So let's remove this, bring it that way. When we do so, we remain with 4n squared m squared is giving us 2x squared plus n squared. So since we want m isolated, divide both sides by 4n squared, divide both sides by 4n squared. From here, we end up having this going with that. We remain with m squared, giving us 2x squared plus n squared over 4, n squared. So from there, we can go ahead and find the square root so that we remain with m. Square root on both sides, square root on both sides, this goes with that. You remain with your value of m as, it's under the square root of 2x squared plus n squared, divide that by the way, that 4 can, okay, let's first leave it as 4n squared. And maybe to simplify the solution further, we can go ahead and say, now take note that this 4, this is the same as saying 2n, this whole thing squared. So I can as well come here and say that this is 2x squared plus n squared, divide that by, in brackets, 2n squared. This is m. I'm just simplifying the expression, but we already have the answer. So our value of m here becomes, that is the same as saying the square root of 2x squared plus n squared, divide all that by 2n. You can stop there. So that is, right there is the answer to that expression. Moving on. Two quantities, x, y, and x are related by the equation y is equal to that. Those are the two quantities, they are related by that equation. When y is 4, x is 2. When y is 6, x is 4. Find the values of a and b. Let's rewrite this here. Two quantities y and x are related by the expression y is equal to a plus bx. So they're telling us that when y is 4, so meaning that when y is 4, 4 is going to be equal to, when y is 4, x is 2. So it's going to be a plus x is 2, so this is plus 2b. That is the first expression. And then the second, they are telling us that when y is 6, meaning that 6 is going to be equal to a plus, when y is 6, x is 4. So that's going to be plus 4b. That's the second equation. Find the values of a and b. You realize we have ended up having a pair of simultaneous equations, and so we shall solve them. We can solve them using elimination method. So 4 is equal to a plus 2b. Then we have 6 is equal to a plus 4b. We can eliminate a by subtracting the two equations. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. A minus a is 0. Then 2 minus negative 4b is negative 2b. Divide both sides by negative 2. This goes with that. Remain with 1. So this goes with that. We have b as 1. So meaning our value of b here is 1. After finding our value of b as 1, then we can go ahead and find the value of a by substituting in any of these two equations. So I can simply come here and say that 4 is equal to a plus 2b. That means my 4 is going to be a plus 2b, 2 times b, which is 1. Then from there, I can go ahead and find my value of a. So it is a plus 2, giving me 4. This means that a is equal to 4 minus 2, and my value of a is 2. So my value of a is 2, my value of b is 1. Moving on. Again here, given that a is 2 pi into c over b, express b in terms of that. So express b, we're trying to find the square, you're making b the subject of the formula. So let me quote that here. A is given by 2 pi under the square root of c over b. Okay, so that means this is going to be equal to, we want to isolate b. So let's begin by eliminating the 2 pi. 2 pi is bound to the rest of this by multiplication, so to get rid of it, we divide by 2 pi on both sides. So I shall say a over 2 pi is equal to 2 pi times the square root of c over b. I'm also dividing this by 2 pi, so that this 2 pi and that 2 pi cancel out. When they cancel out, what we remain with here is a over 2 pi is equal to the square root of c over b. Now, for us to reach b, we need to first remove the square root sign. It is covering the b. So how do we remove it? By squaring on both sides. When we square, this goes with that. When it goes with that, we shall remain with c over b, giving us a, that is a squared over, 2 pi squared, 2 squared is 4, pi squared is pi squared, like that. So from there, we can make this a flat equation by cross multiplying. So this becomes b a squared is giving us c times 4 pi squared. We are interested in isolating b, okay? So meaning that if you're interested in isolating b, let's eliminate this a squared. So we do that by dividing both sides by a squared, so that this goes with that. And from there, we have b, which we are isolating. We're making it the subject for the formula, being equal to c times 4 pi is 4c pi squared over a squared. And yeah, that's an answer. We can stop there. Or you can go ahead and modify it and say it is 4c into pi over a squared. Either way, it's still correct. So we've answered part Roman 1 of the question. Then Roman 2, find the values of b if c is that and that, pi is that and a is that. So find the values of c. So they want us to find the values of c. This is simply, substitution. We could even substitute in just this expression. We know that, let me do this here. Roman 2, we know that a is given by 2 pi into c over b. They want us to find the value of b. Find the value of b. Oh, let's use the expression we got earlier. So Roman 2, they want us to find the value of b if c is that, that, and that. So what expression did we get? We got b is equal to 4c. So we got our expression for b, that b was given by 4c pi squared over a squared. So from that, we know that if this is going to be 4 times c, c is 240 times 240, multiply that by pi, which is 3.14 squared, divide that by a, which is 12.56 squared. So from there, we shall be able to get our value of b. Our value of b here is 60. So factorize completely this expression. So from this expression, you realize that we have PQ, 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 PQ everywhere. So Since PQ is common everywhere, let's put PQ outside the brackets into what do we remain with the first term? 2p squared q cubed. Divide that by PQ, remain with 2pq squared. Then minus the next expression is PQ cubed. This divide by that, PQ, cube, divide that by that, we remain with minus Q squared, then that is plus PQ divided by PQ, divide by this PQ, that is plus 1. Then we have negative P squared Q, divide that by PQ, that means remain with minus 2P, like that. Okay, so from there, we now work on simplifying the things in the brackets to make them simpler. So if you look into the brackets, we have a q squared there and a q squared there. So we are going to factorize that out. So what we have here is pq in brackets, we have q squared put outside the brackets into this expression, divided by q squared, we remain with 2p. Then here we have, negative q squared, divide that by q squared, remain with minus 1. Then here we have plus, plus 1 minus 2p, like that. Again, we are still dealing with the items in the big brackets. So we shall come here and say pq into brackets. Do you notice that this is 2p minus 1 and this is 1 minus 2p? It's more like one is the reverse of the other. So how can we make those two look, the same? So we can make those two look the same by, this is a positive 1. We can make it negative 1 and this becomes positive. So in other words, this is as simple as saying this is q squared into 2p minus 1. Then I'm going to, between this expression and that expression, I'm going to say, minus 1. In other words, I'm factorizing out 1 into positive 1 divided by negative 1, we remain with negative 1. Then negative 2p, divide that by negative 1, leaves us with plus 2p. We have factorized it out like that. So in other words, this becomes pq into q squared, that is 2p minus 1. That is then minus 1 into, we're just rearranging this, is 2p minus 1, like that. So from here, you're able to notice that we have 2p minus 1 there, 2p minus 1 there, same items in the bracket. So I shall say pq into, items in the brackets, we put them in their own bracket, which is 2p minus 1. Then the items that are outside the brackets, that is q squared minus 1. So this into q squared minus 1, like that. So from there you can see that we have ended up with pq into 2p minus 1 into q squared minus 1. I think we can't go any further than that. Then we have factorized, and that's the answer for that. Alright, so we have here, if a is equal to 14 and b is 8 and a over c plus that is equal to b, find the value of c. So this is just a matter of substitution, a over c plus a minus 1 over 2c is equal to b. They want us to find the value of c. So definitely here we shall substitute. A is 14, so we shall say it's 14, divide that by c. Our value of c is not known, it's what we are looking for. 14 over c plus a minus 1, a is 14 minus 1, divide that by 2c, is giving us our value of b, which is 8. So from there, we're just simply going to go ahead and solve for the value of c. So this is going to become 14 over c plus 14 minus 1, which is 13 over 2c, is going to give us 8. Like that. So from what we can see here, this is as good as asking us to make C the subject of the formula. If we make C the subject of the formula in this expression, we will have found the value of C. So, okay, so let's find the LCM here. C and 2C, that is 2C right there. 2C divided by C is 2. 2 times 14 is 28. Plus 2C divided by 2C is 1. 1 times 13, that is plus 13, is going to give equal to 8. So from there, we can go right ahead. We can make this be divided by 1. We cross multiply. When we cross multiply, we have 2C times 8, giving us, 28 plus 13. What is 28 plus 13? It's 41. This is 41. So 2C times 8 is definitely going to be 16. 16C, giving us 41. Divide both sides by 16. Our value of C is going to give us this is 2.5625. That's our value of C. The other way you could have done this is maybe first of all you first make C the subject of a formula before doing anything, then you find the value of C, because they're telling us to find the value of C. So you could have also just done A over C plus, A minus 1 over 2C is equal to B. Find the LCM. LCM of 2C and C, that is 2C, is going to give us 2C divided by C is C times A. C times A gives us, 2C divided by C is 2, 2 times A is 2A, plus, we have 2C divided by 2C is 1, that is plus, that is going to give us A minus 1 is equal to B. Then from there again, we cross multiply, and this is going to turn out into being, 2A. This is over 1. So when we cross multiply like that, this becomes 2C times B is giving us 2A plus, plus the A minus the 1, So that's going to become, this is going to be 3A minus 1 is giving us 2CB. So since we are interested in just finding the value of C, we divide both sides by 2B, divide both sides by 2B, so that these 2 and that 2 go, that B and that B go, we remain with our value of C as 3A minus 1 over 2B. So after making C the subject of the formula, then you can go ahead and substitute accordingly. So this becomes 3 times A. According to our question, our value of A is 14, so it becomes 3 times 14 minus 1, divide that by 2 times our value of B. What is our value of B according to the question? Our value of B is 8. So that is 2 times 8. That is going to give us the value of C. So from there, the rest is just calculator work, and we get our answer, which is 41. Divide that by still come up with the same answer as before. So I have to expand it. Moving on, they will require to expand this expression A into 1 minus ax squared over 2, and this is to the power 2. Now take note that we shall use this identity. There's an identity that a minus b squared is given by a squared plus 2, it's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. We are all familiar with that identity. It is supposed to have been introduced to you. So that's what we are going to use here. This is our value of A. When we look at A minus B, this is our value of A, that is our value of B. And so we are going to expand it. This square is not there. So when we say A into 1 minus ax over 2 squared, it's the same as saying A Then now we're going to start expanding that using our identity. So it's going to become 1 squared minus 2 times 1, which is a times b, which is ax over 2, plus c squared, plus b squared, which b squared in this case is ax over 2 squared, like that. So from there, what we have is a into brackets, 1 squared is 1, minus, of course, that 2 and that 2 will cancel, we shall remain with ax. Then it is going to be plus, ax squared, this is going to become ax squared, divide that by 4, like that. So of course the rest is just a matter of simplifying. When we open brackets, this becomes a minus a squared x plus a cubed x squared over 4. And think, so after expanding that expression, that is how far we can go. And that's the answer. And finally, makes the subject of the formula in this expression. So we have c here, we want to make it the subject of the formula. So a is going to be equal to b minus, this is under the square root of b squared minus c squared, or this is plus c squared, and this is all squared. We know that the square root sign and that will always cancel out. So we have our value of a as b minus b squared plus c squared. The b that side, this becomes a minus b is equal to minus b squared plus c squared. Alright, after putting that b that side, remember we want to isolate c. Let's open brackets here. So this is becoming a minus b is going to be equal to minus b squared minus c squared. Okay, so again, let's take that way, that b that side, so it becomes a minus b plus b squared is equal to negative c squared. So let me rewrite this here. It is a minus b plus b squared is equal to negative c squared. To remove this negative from here, let's multiply both sides by negative 1. So times negative 1 here times negative 1. So this becomes negative a plus b minus b squared is equal to c squared. So when I find the square root on both sides, I shall end up with c giving me, this under the square root of negative a plus b minus b squared. I have made c the subject of the formula in the process. That brings us to the end of today's session on simple algebra that involved expansion and identities, factorization and substitution, and finding the reciprocal of a number. These are past paper questions, for UNEB exams. Arnold Rangakuramia is my name. This is Kisembo Academy. Take care.